The origin of comic is not very flashy. No radioactive spider bites or atomic explosion has given the media the capacity to become a sophisticated entertainment in the early 20th century. Rather, over 75 years, it took continuous development to come to its full power. The first comic arrived on newsstands in the early 1930s. Pulp magazine or Pulps also played a role in the distinct identity for this new publication. The word is most commonly associated with popular literature magazine produced on low-cost wood pulp papers that have existed in various formats in North America. Graphic novel refers to the long-form narrative writing that combines words and images, basically a comic. The phrase mostly refers to a complete tale published as a book rather than over a period of time. On the other hand, comic means funny. The early comic strips in newspapers were all intended to be funny. Adventure comics did not appear until much later, and their generic design have changed since then. Superman set the tone for every superhero to come after, even becoming the first to earn his own exclusive comic book dedicated to his adventure in a time characters were typically restricted to one short story in various publications. Comic book has gone through a decades of evolution. There are Golden Age referred to 1938 to 1956, the Silver Age from 1950 to 1971, the Bronze Age from 1971 to 1980s, and then comes the Dark Age from 1980s to 1993. These all have very distinct art styles which contributed to the form of comic we see these days. But what I want to focus on is the Victorian period, because graphic novels are centered on that era. The Victorian illustrated books came into being during the long 19th century. To the Victorians, reading was more visual and verbal. The graphic novel is essentially a lengthy, high-end comic book printed on quality papers and bound with a spine to make it appear like a novel. Also very cinematic in nature, made up of sequential panels, black and white, sometimes color graphics that are incorporated with word balloons, thought bubbles, captions, a variety of fonts and hand lettering, motion lines, and sound effects such as onomatopic words. The eye moves over each panel to gather meaning rather than move straight across to read the lines of text from the top of the page to the bottom. Victorian periods also includes an illustrated volume of the era's most popular novelist Charles Dickens. Now coming to their design balance, graphic novels offers a reading experience in which, as in traditional reading, the reader controls the speed of perception and can look backwards at their own time. Leading authors of graphic novels like Alan Moore and Neil Gaiman work closely with artists including inkers, colorists, and letterers to write their text called script, knowing even more than Dickens did that picture will play a quite essential role in their stories. The script of a graphic novel cannot stand on its own as an unillustrated edition of a Dickensian novel can. Coming to typography, first of all, the text in comic is referred to as lettering. It also refers the process of putting words in a comic. Have you ever wondered why comics are lettered in all caps? The true motivation for leaving lowercase letters has nothing to do with space, legibility, quality, or materials, and everything to do with time. Because of the way the alphabet works, 5 lines are required to make lowercase letters, whereas on capital letters you only require 3. That saved time, and that was valuable. Why random bolding and italicizing words? Well, looking at a lot of cap text becomes tiring on the eyes. Emphasizing words in a big flashy way helps remind readers that they're reading a book about Superman or Captain America. It breaks the text inside a speech bubble in an aesthetically pleasing way that gives the eye a break. But now that we're in a digital age, fonts are used, making it easier to marry the text with the image, with expressive fonts like this to highlight funny comical events, where something like this is used to draw attention to actions. We have now reached to the point in our journey across many colorful panels at which there is no distinctive way to categorize the present age. Comics have expanded into something without shape or border. Advance in technology in films, television, video games have created adaptation, leading to an increase in comic book readers from all walks of life. Ageless Age would be from 1993 to present date, and it has its own art style. Advanced technology has led to a creative illustrative techniques, everything from digital painting to 3D modeling. The line between films and comic comic is now so thin that some series are adapted into motion comic, adding voice actors and animation to the panel with no change to the art itself. Japanese animation is widely recognized as one of the leading content business of the country. Manga is how it came to be. We have seen a tremendous increase in manga readers over the past 5 years. It is very much in relation to the increasing awareness of anime as well as the popularity of video games, especially among teenagers. When they were younger, 4 or 5 years ago, Pokemon and Sailor Moon first started coming out. So these young people have grown up very comfortably with anime and this kind of design. Manga is the origin of anime and video games, so these young people have a natural tendency towards being interested in the content of manga. No longer restricted to publishing giants like Marvel and DC, writers are free to explore specialty publisher and niche markets, even forging traditional distribution channels by publishing their content on the internet.